The nucleus is considered one of the most important organelles inside either a plant or animal cell. It acts like the brain of the cell, controlling eating, movement, and reproduction. The nucleus is only found in eukaryotic cells. The best description of a nucleus is a big black dense spot located toward the middle of the cell. It floats in cytoplasm and is surrounded by a membrane protecting it from the rest of the cell. 4 parts to the nucleus, each fulfilling a different function: the nuclear envelope, nucleolus, chromatin, and nucleoplasm. The nuclear envelope is the membrane that surrounds the nucleus, similar to a cell membrane. It contains 3 structures: an inner membrane, an outer membrane, and the nuclear pore. The nuclear pores are small gaps in the nuclear membrane that regulate the transport of material between the nucleus and cytoplasm in the cell. The nucleolus is a small dark spot found in the middle of the nucleus. It has an important function of ribosome assembly, where proteins are manufactured. Chromatin is the mixture of genetic material formed from DNA and proteins that eventually condenses to form chromosomes. Nucleoplasm is everything else in the nucleus that isn't chromatin or the nucleolus. It allows the nucleus to maintain its shape by providing structural support. The nucleus, which acts like a brain, is one of the most important organelles in order for a cell to be healthy, because it contains chromosomes, which are made up of DNA. Because DNA instructs the cell on how to grow, reproduce, and develop, damage to the DNA will result in the cell not functioning properly. Therefore, damage to the amount of protein production could result in the cell not being able to produce the correct proteins for survival. In humans, damage to the nucleus can result in many diseases and disorders. Plant and animal cells are very similar because they are both eukaryotic cells. They both contain organelles such as a nucleus, Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, and endoplasmic reticulum. There are some cells that are only unique to either plants or animals. These are called specialized cells. Red blood cells are specialized animal cells and are shaped like biconcave discs, which are similar to the shape of a donut but without the hole in the middle. This shape provides a large surface area, allowing more hemoglobin to be carried. Red blood cells are red because they contain the protein hemoglobin, which binds itself to the oxygen molecules inhaled. The main function of red blood cells is to carry oxygen and carbon dioxide around the body. Mature red blood cells in mammals contain no nucleus, Golgi apparatus, endoplasmic reticulum, or mitochondria. An adaptation in red blood cells when they reach maturity sees these organelles pushed out for more hemoglobin. Mesophyll cells are specialized plant cells. The mesophyll is located in the middle of a leaf where photosynthesis occurs. There are 2 types of cells in the mesophyll: palisade mesophyll and spongy mesophyll. The palisade mesophyll cells are tall and closely compacted to absorb maximum amount of sunlight. It is high in chloroplasts required for photosynthesis to occur. The spongy mesophyll cells are irregular shaped cells that have large air spaces between them. Here products produced in the palisade layer such as sugars, amino acids, and gases are stored. Mesophyll cells contain a nucleus, vacuole, cell wall, and cytoplasm. The 2 major differences between red blood cells and mesophyll cells are their flexibility and composition of their organelles. Red blood cells are a rounded shape that not only allows for maximum surface area but also flexibility. This is particularly required when red blood cells negotiate a path through the body's smallest blood vessels and capillaries. Mesophyll cells, on the other hand, contain a rigid cell wall. They are also a regular fixed shape, which is necessary for providing added stability and protection to the plant cell. Another difference is that mesophyll cells contain additional organelles to those of red blood cells, such as large vacuoles, cytoplasm, and chloroplasts. In plant cells, there is one large central vacuole that can make up 90% of the cell. Arguably, the most important difference is that mesophyll cells, like all plant cells, contain the additional organelle chloroplast. Chloroplasts are required to convert sunlight into energy during photosynthesis. Red blood cells and mesophyll cells are extremely important to the overall health of an organism. In animals, any disruption to the quantity, shape, or life cycle of red blood cells can affect the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. In humans, sickle cell anemia is an example of a disease which is a result of red blood cells being a distorted shape. A lack of oxygen causes an animal to become fatigued, whilst oxygen deprivation leads to cells not being able to respire, which ultimately leads to death. Without chlorophyll contained in mesophyll cells, a plant would not be able to form photosynthesis. Therefore, it would no longer produce its own food source, which would also result in the death of the plant.